All right, perhaps this. Hopefully this has fixed the issue. Awesome. I thought I had unclicked that button about 400 times and re-clicked it, but we're finally getting some commentary on here. Sorry about that. This is obviously my first time riding solo for commentating, but could have gotten off to a worse start. I'm HoopBK. We are at Baku. Let's see what other things I should have said at the very beginning of the stream. Round 3, Season 12, or the Sunday tier for Performance Racing League. And a very special event today. No mediums allowed around Baku. Got a lot of pace at the front of the field. All fighting it out for that P1 position. Gortsas currently at the top. Mr. Bean not very far behind. Let's see if we can get around into some of this on-track action. Awesome. Thank you, Gord. Thank God. Finally has some voice for you guys. The sweet, sultry sounds of HoopBK calling this one. Let's see, Martin, contender last week, had a bit of a time penalty, knocked him into P14. A very busy field at Austria last week. Should check that one out on the YouTube page if you missed it. A very busy one. Martin with the... It said a purple sector 3, but he was 9 seconds off the pace. Let's see if Noob looks like it might be interesting. Don't know what was happening there. Loecki on a flyer right now. He's almost 7/10 up. Or actually, was that him after a flying lap? Might have been that, actually. Let's see, let's go on board with Mysterious. How about that? So the second long straight here at Baku, just a bunch of DRS zones. This is going to be a huge overtaking opportunity in the race. So hit through another 90-degree turn, down into the third gear. Mysterious showing off some pace. He was one of the faster drivers here in Tier 2 last season. Had an unfortunate incident that took him out of the race here. He is moving quicker. Let's see, I'm back on board there. Finsick is on his outlap. Through the Twisty Castle section, very, very tight. And then kind of wide open here through the Old Town area. The end of Sector 2. You can keep it pretty much planted to the floor as you go into a very tricky braking zone. Big curve to hit and launch you off as he gets a little wobbly there. And I think he's abandoning the lap after a big wobble. Let's see. Martin just finished this lap. He jumped up to P3. Let's see. Who is that all the way down there? A free guy on his outlap. Trying to recognize all the colors here. That must be Mr. Bean starting his next flying lap. He is the closest contender to Gortsas at the top. Let's see if we can ride on board with him. Get some yellows for some cars getting out of the way. Dumping some battery. Let's head through the DRS straight, the first one of the lap. Mr. Bean, I don't have the results in front of me, but I believe he had to DNF last week. But probably one of the fastest drivers in the tier. He is up 3.5 tenths through Sector 1. And just kind of whips it through this corner and heads down towards the castle section. See, it's Martin about to start. It's again that tricky braking zone. Excellent corner though. for Mr. Bean. Flashes purple there, at least on the map. And now just flat out through the rest of the lap. You can just keep it planted if you get the line right. And dump the rest of the battery as we head towards that DRS zone. There we go, 200 miles an hour, 205. Let's see, is he going to get Mr. Sauce? He does by over, or nearly, half a second. So he has thrown down the gauntlet for Gord. So we have some drivers finishing off their qualifying runs. Let's see. It's Dr. J. Got an Aston Martin, J7 perhaps. He's not going to be anywhere close. Finsick also doesn't appear to be on one. Hop back to Gore, but he is 3/10 slower in Sector 1. Ooh, very, very close at the castle section. Charles Leclerc having flashbacks. Let's see, let's check on Joe real quick. It doesn't. Oh, he does not have a front wing. So Joe, unless I had an issue. So it looks like Gord is the only one between. Oh, and he's still slower on this lap. He is the last hope to dethrone Mr. Bean from the top, but it doesn't look like this is going to be the lap. So we had Finsick retire, possibly crashing into turn 1. That would explain the yellows at least there. And yeah, Gord's going to abort this one. What about the oil can? Rusty oil can also off the pace. So fortunately missed a lot of action in qualifying, but this is going to be our starting grid for today's race. Once again, no mediums allowed in the race. Actually said he went faster that time. So Mr. Bean putting down a big 138.49. That was untouchable from the rest of the field. He'll be ahead of Gord Sauce. Martin and Finsick will be 4th, just behind Martin in the 139 O's. J7, Joe Bidone. New plays will be 7th in the Ferrari. Lewecki 8th. Free Guy 9th. Mysterious, or XTK Mysterious is 10th in the other McLaren. Butler, Oil Can, Marchena, Dr. J, Tar Heels, and the Urgic Moss rounding out a 16-car field. Another really strong grid for the Sunday tier this week. Very excited to see this one get underway. The first couple of corners are going to be fantastic and entertainment. So once again, Mr. Bean on pole position for this one, ahead of Gord Sauce. And I just went through the order, but here is the full order once again. Tar Heels opting for the hards. Still think we'll see a one-stop strategy in this one, but saving another pair of softs. So there we go. Step aside, grab a drink, get some popcorn. Get ready for a good one here at Baku. no formation laps, so got to be ready to hop right into this race. 16 car field once again, and these first couple of corners here at Baku with everyone bunched up together, some must-watch TV. Everyone will be jockeying for position. Some really good racing, some possibly bad racing too. As we get through those first 3 or 4 corners and everyone looking to improve their positions. So get ready for this one. Expecting a soft to hard strategy today, especially with the possibility of an early safety car. As we are getting underway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And they're out and they're off. Mr. Bean, pretty good getaway. Gore gets to the inside though. Oh, we have some contact behind. J7 hits the barrier. We have a McLaren around. It's Joe Bidome. Let's get through the second corner. It's like J7 missing an end plate. He's going to be bombarded. Looks like Joe Bidome got the worst of that one. He's also missing an end plate. As Gordsas has snuck by into the lead. Plenty of action to those first 4 corners. Let's see Dr. J possibly around near the back. So I'll kind of settle into nearly a parade through Sector 2. Very, very, very difficult to make any passes through this section of track. Let's get set up with some of our... There we go. We have our position changes. Lewecki up 3, making it through that disaster of the first 2 corners. Always somebody that gets the short straw. Let's look at our tires really quick. A lot of soft runners. Mr. Bean, Joe Bidome, and Dr. J all on the hards. And Gord is already pulling away with this one, actually. He is over a second ahead of Mr. Bean, who is having to fight off Martin. Martin gets to the inside. If we can get a better camera angle here. And he will get by the Williams of Mr. Bean. Spensick also closing in on the Williams. But DRS enabled this time by. Not able to quite make a move. Lewecki. Oh, man, that was... Is that J7 finding the barrier? And now he has no end plates. This is going to be a tough, tough lap for him. So he's going to start dropping positions. Noob also around in turn 4. He's going to have to recover. And Dr. J already in the pit. I believe he started on the hards. It's going to be a tough recovery race for him. Hoping for a safety car. So still all rather close. Top 4. All within DRS of each other. Oh. And the Urgic Moss has found the barrier in the castle section. Is he able to get around? We'll come back to him. There we go. He does not have much of a wing or anything. Kind of Austin Powers-esque, trying to get turned around in the castle section. Back at the front, Martin closing in on Gord Sauce. He'll have DRS. Gets to the inside. Getting the fastest lap in the process and very easily gets through, actually. So he'll lead the cars under the first DRS zone. Gord will have a chance to respond here. Let's see, have some movement in the back. Let's see if we can get the broadcast camera to do what we want here as they trickle through the beginning of Sector 2. All the cars still very close, so it's hard to get away from the leaders, but I do want to see this battle. Oh, got it right in time. Free Guy and Mysterious clanging together through that very tight corner. Free Guy comes out much better than his McLaren rival, but he leads this pack through. Uh-oh. And I missed it. Martin around after the castle section. And a very good start has turned disastrous for the Haas driver. Let's see, he's going to have to try to get this one around. Finally does, so he's joined the growing list of drivers who have gone around early in this one. Back up at the front, Gord Sauce. Leading over Mr. Bean. Sorry I did not catch what happened, but it ended with Martin facing into the barriers. They're side by side into the DRS zone. Mr. Bean will have DRS and he'll pull away from the McLaren, or the Mercedes, sorry. Gord kind of going a little defensive to keep Finsick behind him. So that 4-car train becomes a 3-car train at the front of the field. Lewicki trailing them. And Free Guy, and then, ooh, big wobble from Marciano looks like as Mysterious fights his way by. He is lacking some downforce, to say the least. Finsick and Gord side by side into turn 3, and Finsick makes it stick. It's a tough move to pull off, but he pulls it off as the Haas of Martin ducks into the pits further behind. So we have a couple of battles throughout the field. I'll try to give everyone some TV time. Imagine Mysterious start to drop a little bit of time, a little bit more time from Butler. And Marchena and Rusty Oil Can will try to get by, but not a good place to do it right here. Ooh, Gord getting over that curb. That curb will throw you if you're not careful. Back up at the front. Mr. Bean might have enough juice to keep Finsick behind in the DRS zone. It appears he does. And Gord really starting to fall away from that duo. But they ought to move. Guess Marchena getting by Mysterious. Further behind, Noob sends it up the inside. He's defending from Rusty Oil Can and Tar Heels. Tar Heels and Rusty. Rusty gets by the Alpine of Tar Heels. Starting to settle in a little bit as the groups start to pull away from each other. See Gord. I don't know if Gord had an issue somewhere, but he is starting to drop some pace from that front duo. Ooh, Lewicki slams into the wall. And he has some damage. That's he missing a front end plate. I was about to curse him. He didn't even need the curse. He was up 4 spots, fighting into the top 5, but now sustained some damage. Race is going to be a little bit tougher for him now. Actually getting some pretty good shots here. Finsick trying to close in on the Williams of Mr. Bean. He'll have DRS this time. 8/10 back. See if he's able to get to the rear wing. But it looks like Mr. Bean will hold on to it for now. Further back, Marchena. Mysterious trying to hold off Noob in the Ferrari. Going defensive, and actually Mysterious will pull into the pit lane. Probably to fix some damage, and the 10-second time penalty, just far too fast, entering the pit lane. No wing change for him, but going on to the hards. The hards will last for forever. So it does not matter as uh-oh. The Urgic Moss looks like possibly into the castle section crashes and DNFs, so that will bring out the full course safety car. Terrible timing for Mysterious, who just pitted. Everyone else will get a free pit stop. So I imagine, let's see, Dr. J may already be on. Nope, he's ducking in. He'll be the first driver to duck in. Probably going back onto the hards. So now drivers like Mr. Bean, Joe Bidome, J7, what do you do here? The hards will get to the end from this point. It may have gotten to the end from when J7 put them on 3 laps ago. But now you're Mr. Bean and you are forced to put the softs on. And getting him from bad to worse for Mysterious as he picks up another penalty here. So the grid started to pull away from each other, but it'll bring them all back together. Mr. Bean stays out, and Finsick will duck into pit lane. I imagine we'll see most everyone, or probably everyone that's on the sauce. Oh, so Finsick actually going back onto the softs. I guess he anticipates that there will be another safety car, and he'll be able to get onto the hards later. Most everyone else jumping onto the hard. What was that? Oh, J7. Was that J7? No. Sorry, Free Guy. The Astons and the Mercedes look a little too similar. So Free Guy smashing into the wall at turn 2. He will have to come back in, possibly, to change that wing. Oh, he's going to pull off. Maybe we just missed the corner here. That lack of downforce is a pain through the middle sector. Disaster for him. And an interesting call from Finsick going on to the softs. The softs will not get to the end, so he will be forced to make another stop alongside Mr. Bean at the front of the field. Joe Bidome, Mysterious, also on softs. And now we wait for the field to come back together. I imagine we'll have another full lap under safety car. Take the opportunity under this first safety car period. I say first, under this safety car period, as it looks like Finsick actually jumps into the pits. He'll put on hards, I believe. Was going to take a look at our biggest movers, but now that's going to change as they all pass the Sauber that is in the pit lane. But Lewicki up to third from 8th on the grid, up 5 spots. Butler up 7. We have Tar Heels in 9th, up 6 spots. Marchena and Rusty up 5. And just a lot of losers at the bottom of the field, so to speak. Loving term, losers. Finsick coming out after a double pit stop. Martin actually in a better position now after he had to box and replace the front wing. He's in 11th, but in a good spot to jump back up the field. Joe Bidome down to 12th. Looks like Mysterious and Free Guy both in the pit lane. Imagine Free Guy taking care of that front wing. It appears he has. Dr. J might get by both of them. If just one of them, just one. It's Free Guy back to the back of the field. And actually, Mysterious goes deep there. These 90-degree turns, very difficult, as you can see through these first 8 laps. Doesn't appear that they've gotten the message that the safety car will be in, so another lap behind the lovely Aston Martin. Let's wait for the field to get back together. A couple more pit stops. Everyone has pit. Just not sure everyone can get to the end now. Plenty more laps for anything to happen here in Azerbaijan. And there we go. We get the message. Safety car will be in this lap. Mr. Bean going to take it slow. Should be a lot of action here on this restart as we have some quicker drivers that have been pushed down the field. Some variation on tire age. Expecting Finsick to be very aggressive on the restart to make up some spots, get back towards that top 5 or possibly podium position. Martin right behind him, possibly the same. As drivers like Lewicki and Butler try to stay near the front. And Gordsauce getting ready to jump on Mr. Bean, who actually has already pulled away. Pulls a 7/10 gap. Butler to the inside of Lewicki, gets through. Finsick around the outside of Tar Heels, giving each other plenty of space. Tar Heels staying towards the inside, and Mysterious and Free Guy going at it in the back. So Mr. Bean, very good restart, keeps Gord behind him, able to pull a little bit of a gap. Joe Bidome making up some spots on those new soft tires. Trying to get through the field here. Looks like J7 still has some damage on the front wing. I think that's from earlier. And there's a McLaren around. That's Joe Bidome. He smashes into the wall out of turn, whatever the hell that is. 7? He'll fall to the back of the field, and he was making up some ground there after the restart on his new soft tires, but it's been a tough go for him here on this Sunday. J7 and Lewecki. Oh, there's some big damage there. Lewecki, I think that was the Alpine finding the wall. Yes, he has no end plates. Has some damage. So the Aston getting around him. Not sure if the damage came before, after, or possibly during. Noob will slip by Lewecki as well. And he's going to start losing out some time. Noob all the way on the back. J7. A lot of scuffling here to get by the Alpine. Rusty will get by. No DRS this time by. Come on, give me a good camera angle. J7 ducks in and picks up a 10-second penalty. And I believe he is retired from this one. Free Guy goes deep into turn 1. And Mr. Bean and Gortsas have pulled away from Butler. And this duo back out front. Let's see, get through some of this action as they go through Sector 1. Very, very tight from 4th all the way through 10th. Lewecki with the lack of end plates leading this train through a very downforce heavy Sector 1 and 2. And everyone just having to be patient behind him. Let's see. Free Guy appears to get by Dr. J before the castle section. He's the only one on softs currently. And Gortsas staying just attached to the rear. Looks like, I don't know if Lewecki just got, oh wow. There's absolutely no wing on him now. Went from no end plates to no front wing. Looked about the same section. He's still trying to hold on to the position over his teammate Tar Heels. And I missed it. Mr. Bean and Gortsas into turn 1. Gord making the moves. Looks like Finsick and Noob get by Rusty on the front straightaway. And Lewecki picks up the 10. So already quite a few 10-second time penalties for speeding in the pit lane. Defensive from Mr. Bean, but Gord gets around the outside. And they're still side by side. Still some overlap, but Gord appears to take it. So we head towards Sector 2. Still very, very close. He has the inside line and has the clearance to finally get out in front. Watch this main group get through the end of Sector 1. Back at the front, they're still attached to each other as they go through the castle section and now the old town section. Goes defensive. Tough to make a move into here, though, with that curb. They hold back. And I believe a car is around in the castle section. Dr. J gets straightened back out. Mr. Bean right on the rear end of Gortsas. And this should be a slam dunk overtake as they go into the DRS zone on the front straightaway. I believe it's over 2 kilometers flat out from turn 16 up to turn 1. So plenty of space for Gord and Mr. Bean to go at it. Mr. Bean to the inside holds on. That's, I believe, Marchena and Finsick getting by Rusty. I believe I saw that right. A nice little battle between those three. Gord peeking his nose out to get by Mr. Bean in that DRS section, but does not do so. He'll tuck in behind the Williams. Williams, 2 of the top 3 in the middle stages of this one. See, Marchand trying to pull away for a rusty oil can. Martin attached to the back of that Sauber. So he's starting to spread out a little bit. A couple more mistakes throughout the field. Starting to spread some time out near the back of the field. Mr. Bean, gourd sauce on his rear wing. Gourd sauce right up against the wall. Try to jump back to them for a possible DRS overtake, but Noob trying to fend off Finsick as well. Looks like we have McLaren around, and it'll bring out the safety car actually. That's Joe Biden going deep right before the castle section, and not much of a front wing left on that car. He had just gone onto the hards. And another tough, just another incident and a very tough day for the McLaren driver. So this is probably what Mr. Bean was looking for. I'm not entirely sure the softs will get you to the end from here, but you can certainly try. Mr. Bean does still need to stop. I think I said earlier that everyone had stopped. He is the only driver, I believe. So we'll double check that, actually. Yeah, still the only driver to stop, or still needs to stop. Lewecki hops in. He's the only driver on softs currently. Looks most everybody's staying out. And it appeared to be a... I guess they got caught up behind the safety car. That's what I saw. So the second safety car of the afternoon, second full safety car, and I don't think we've had any VSCs so far. A couple of local yellows, but see what Mr. Bean does this time through. Still trying to catch the safety car. So the pack still spread out a little bit. And Tar Heels gets hit with a speeding under safety car, which is a drive-through penalty. Unfortunate for him. Seen quite a few penalties in this one. Haven't been able to witness all of them, but possibly some extraneous penalties thrown in there. Looks like Mr. Bean will hop into the pits, throw on that soft tire, see if we can get to the end. Say 12 laps on softs. They might be a little iffy at the end, but at this point, not much of a choice. So I'll move Butler into P2 and Noob into P3. Mr. Bean, let's see where he comes out. I believe it'll be about P6. Yep, P6. Not too bad, actually. So a nice gap for him to fall into. And only 4 cars between him and Gourd Sauce has rivaled this race. He certainly has the pace, and now with the fresh tires, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Let's go through just a tough race for some of these drivers near the back of the field. A lot of spins, a lot of penalties, but still some points up for grabs, and you grab everything you can get at this point. And with how this race has gone, who knows, maybe someone in front of you will find the barrier and you are right back into this one. Field is still quite spread out. Would not be surprised if we go green at the end of lap 17 at this point, as opposed to end of lap 16. So pretty good for Mr. Bean, trying to keep those tires nice and cool, nice and fresh, and get this race closer to the end. Less time he has to put on those fresh softs. Tar Heel is also on the fresh softs now, after serving his drive-through penalty. Still very, very early in this Season 12 campaign, but taking a quick look at the standings, Gord Sauce P2 in each of the first 2 rounds, so he is leading the championship standings currently, ahead of Mr. Bean, who has a win and a DNF. 30 points behind Gord. Finsick won last time out in Austria, so he is P3 after not participating in round 1 in Belgium. Tar Heels Viking side, who is not racing today, I believe, though he could be under a... That may actually be Martin. So yeah, that's Martin, P5 in our standings. And then Noob, P6, not very far behind him. So Noob looking at a possible podium. Everything counts. It's too early to freak out about the championship standings, but also it's not early enough to want good results to put you in a good spot in those standings. Butler actually near the... I believe he's only raced once so far this season. Yes, P10 last time out, so he is 15th in the standings. So a podium finish would launch him up the list there. And podiums early on in the season can do wonders for a driver's confidence. So you take good results where you can get them. It does appear I was correct earlier. We will not go green this lap. About 1 more lap behind the safety car. In the constructors, it is a Mercedes out front by an 18-point margin over the Alpines, which I believe we do have 2 Alpines. So I believe Loecki is a reserve, but we'll still get some points for the team. Tar Heels back in. Another pair of softs, it appears. Might as well empty the garage. The Kicksauber in P3 in the constructors. I think that's a very strong duo right there with Finsick and Rusty Oil Can. The Williams of Mr. Bean and Butler. Red Bull in P5. Believe there's only one of them today, Dr. J. The V-Carbs in P6. That's Marchena and Craig, who is not here today. McLaren's P7. And that between P4 and P7 is just 6 points, so anything can happen there. The Astons are P8, just ahead of the Ferraris by a point, P9, and Haas in the back of the field, currently in the constructors. Oh man, very long laps here and very long safety car periods, it feels. Had a little bit of the same at Belgium 2 weeks ago. You have a minute 40 lap and then you're just kind of cruising around at near highway speeds. See, safety car should be in this time. And we can finally get ready for a, was that 9 lap shootout? There we go. We get the message. See how Gortsas plays this. Seemed to Mr. Bean got to about the DRS activation point and took off on him. So let's see if Gord goes early or later. Butler right on the back of him. And there he goes. So pretty much a straight line on the way back. Single file. Though looks like Mr. Bean and Marchena. Mr. Bean trying to take advantage. Oh, Marchena sideways off of turn 1. Recovers. So Mr. Bean trying to take advantage of those new tires. Finsick gets by Noob. And we have someone around. I believe that was... Oh, no. Mr. Bean. It was Mr. Bean around. And that'll bring out the full course safety car once again. Only got to see it in the background. Possibly some contact on the way through in turn 2. Mr. Bean having to go very aggressive. And I wonder if that hurt him. And Marchena picks up a 10-second time penalty with a collision with Lewicki. So... get through 2 corners and we are back under safety car. Let's see. So Gord maintained the lead. Further on back, having to be very aggressive. Marchena will get back by Free Guy. Marchena missing an end plate, it appears. Yeah, Mr. Bean on the new tires having to be aggressive, and appears an incident in turn 2. He comes out on the worst end. Lewicki missing an end plate. Let's see the damage from Mr. Bean. Yeah, pretty severe damage on that front wing. He will probably dive into the pits. Put on another set of softs. Why not? But before all that happened, it's like Finsick got around Noob to get into P3. He is on the charge. Mysterious finding himself up in P6 after all that, and I believe that's Martin diving in. He's going to throw on the softs. Butler, Martin, Marchena, Joe Bidome, Mr. Bean, Dr. J, all coming in. So the leader's staying out. They want the position, but Butler actually going in and wanting the pace that the new softs provide. We're well within that window now. He comes out ahead of Tar Heels, actually, so P8. Martin, not a... I guess he didn't change tires. Okay. Bidome, Bean, Dr. J, Marchena all coming back out on new softs. So we'll try this again, shall we? Possibly just a 5-lap shootout. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, Dr. J going deep there. Not entirely sure the safety car will come in this lap, so it'll be a 5-lap shootout. Very nice for those soft runners, but also you only have 5 laps to do it. Yep, that's the 3rd safety car, Ramsey. We've, yeah, this is the most normal Baku race for sure. Least amount of safety cars ever seen at Azerbaijan. Yeah, Ramsey says, long way to climb for the soft runners. Indeed. Once again, the soft runners will have to be aggressive on the restart, and it did not work out for Mr. Bean last time. I'm sure cars like Butler's in the best position of all of them, will be able to make up a few spots here, but it's going to be tough. A lot of places to go, not a lot of time. And then for someone like Mr. Bean, who certainly has the pace, you've already bent it once after trying to be aggressive. I didn't see what happened, but I'm sure that there was an incident. So are you trying to pull back your aggression the next time, but also knowing you need to be aggressive to gain some good positions? And Ramsey is right. Gord already has a 30-point lead in the championship standings. I believe this would be, he's looking for his first Sunday tier championship. So Gord, if he's able to stay out front with his championship rival down in P12, big points haul. Big points haul. And I'm sure Gord will be able to make these 13-lap-old hards work for him. And the degradation here, not very strong at all. At least during some of my practice runs, it was something like 1% a lap on the hards. So those hards still feel pretty good, I imagine, also considering half of these laps have been under safety car. There we go. We get the message and get ready for a 6-lap shootout here on the streets of Baku. Broadcast camera didn't really help me out with seeing when exactly Gord went last time, but let's see if we get a decent camera this time. We'll stick on board, see when he goes. And he's off. See, Fensick, actually a pretty good run right behind him. He's tucked in. It looks like Noob and Rusty, as we get a terrible camera. Okay, Noob gets by Rusty. Fensick goes deep. He finds the barrier in turn 1. Bounces off of it. Just Butler tucked in. Oh, I believe we have a car around there. It's that Tar Heels getting wobbly off there. Martin also dropping some spots. Go back to the front. Gord, with Fensick making that mistake, has pulled away. 1.6 seconds, 1.5 seconds to Noob in second place. Butler gets by Lewecki. They are wheel to wheel, bouncing off of each other as they head to the end of Sector 1. Kind of a little bit of a cross up there. Maybe some contact, and definitely contact on exit between Butler and Mysterious, and we have a Williams in the wall. Mr. Bean. This race has gone into the nightmare stage as we get a VSC. The first VSC of the day, but 4th safety car. I believe that's how that works. I believe that's the full extent. That's all we'll see for VSCs or safety cars today. So Gord be able to nurse a 1.4 second lead to Noob. Fensick, let's see, does he have any damage? It does appear he's missing an end plate, his foray into the turn 1 wall. His teammate Rusty right behind him. I'll tell you, that duo will make up some good points in the constructors today. Lewecki, Butler, the first one on softs. Mysterious and Martin. Joe Bidem and Marchana, and we are going green. Noob and Fensick side by side as they go green, and Butler slipping by Lewecki as they go green. So Finsick making his way back into P2 even with damage. But now he's going to have to be very defensive as Noob is not missing. Uh-oh. We have a car around. No, it's Mr. Bean retiring in the pits. Just another rough one for the Williams driver. Second DNF in a row and really hurting his championship chances. Noob gets back around Finsick on the DRS zone. Was that Rusty finding the wall? Oh, we have cars around behind. Martin, Mysterious. Mysterious is ghosted. It's going to be tough to get around here. So I have to make a 9-point turn. Back at the front, Butler on the tail of the oil can in front of him. Much better tires. See if we can take advantage of that. Let's see. Tar Heels free guy. Very, very loose through that section. Possibly missing some downforce there. Mysterious as well. Gord pulling away at the front. 2.8 seconds. Noob now has a good gap on Finsick. Imagine the lack of downforce on that Sauber is hurting him now as this run goes on. And we head on to lap 23. Behind him, Rusty Oil Can having to hold off the hard-charging Will Butler. Bynum and Martin side by side into turn 1. They give each other some decent space. And Bynum gets by, I believe. I believe he takes that position as opposed to holding on to it. Butler tucked in behind Rusty. Trying to make the move for P4. Pokes his nose out, but decides against it. Probably a good move. Joe holds off Martin, but Martin and Marchena right behind. Marchena gets to the outside and takes that spot. We'll stay with them. It appears to be the big battle going on. Actually, Butler, once again, poking out his nose. Gets a nice whiff of clean air, but tucks back in. Ooh, possibly a little deep into that one for Rusty. I think it's going to give Butler a decent... Oh, we do have another VSC. What happened here? Not sure what happened, actually. Did not see which car went around, but another VSC. Thought that was... So this is our second VSC, and we've had 3 safety cars. Maybe I just don't know how the game works. I thought it was 4 of either, but I believe that's our 5th safety / virtual safety car. Lewecki diving into the pits. And Mysterious picks up a drive-through right behind him. Gord very comfortably ahead as the VSC ends. Noob in the Ferrari in second. So we go back to Martin and Marchena. The Haas slipping by the V-carb. Going into turn 3. They're all right on the back of Joe Bidome now. Still a couple of battles throughout the field. It's just not at the front. Everyone is going to tuck in and play nice. Do a couple more overtaking opportunities, just not here. Let's go through the castle section. I believe Joe is making up time on Butler. I thought that was at 5 seconds earlier. And we've got a yellow. I believe it's Dr. J around. Yep, in the castle section. Just a tough, tough corner. We've seen a couple of incidents there today. We'll hop on board with Rusty who is trying to defend from Butler. Butler on the much better tires here, but I think Butler has to play it very smart here. He will poke out and take the position as DRS opens. Pretty slam dunk overtake there. But I'm wondering if Butler wants to go aggressive and try to make his way up to P3, or if he's just going to play it more defensively and hold on to P4 from Rusty Oil Can. But I think in this case, offense is the best defense. Try to break out of DRS. You have much better tires, no need to hang back. See if you can stretch your legs and go after the Sauber in front of you, as opposed to the one behind you. It's like Joe is starting to pull away from Martin a bit, and Marchena falling back. Tar Heels in DRS. Don't know for how long with Marchena. So we see the times fluctuate here. Oh wow, Finsick missing like an entire half of his wing. Look at that. So he's dropping time to Noob, I believe. Noob holding steady with Gord at the front, but no need to push at this rate from either driver. As the Mercedes heads down the front straight and will take the white flag final lap here in Baku. Gord early on in a battle with Mr. Bean and Martin and Finsick, but he kept it clean, kept it on the track, and he's been able to extend a lead late very comfortably as we see Martin get by Joe. He reeled him back in. They are close to Rusty. I'm not entirely sure Martin's going to get DRS. He does not. So he will have to play defensive with Joe. So, Martin with a lot of damage. That must have been from the earlier incident involving Mysterious at turn 3. So still pulling up to Rusty, but also very, very aware of Joe behind him. Joe pokes his nose to the inside. I think Joe will have a chance to get by one, if not both of these cars in the final sector. Mysterious back in the pit lane, and another speeding penalty, unfortunately. Gord, a lot of curb there as he goes through that corner for the final time today. And then turn 16, back on the throttle and just let her rip for the final 2 kilometers of this track. Gord Sauce, after being the bridesmaid in the first 2 rounds of the championship this season, will finally be the bride, picking up his first win of season 12 in the Sunday tier. As he weaves and celebrates across the line to take home that top step on the podium. Noob plays, fantastic drive from him. He comes home P2. Finsick holds on to P3. So go Rusty trying to hold off from Martin. It's going to be... It was at the line. Wow. That was ridiculously close. 1/1000th of a second. As close as it could possibly be with a non-zero up there. Martin at the line. Gets by Rusty Oil Can for P5. Joe Biden takes home 7th. Very quickly, as the final drivers come across the line, we may have a bit of time for Mysterious. Let's see. There we go. As we look at some of our biggest gainers today. Will Butler up to P4. He had a very fast car all day. Noob up 5 to P2. We had Rusty Oil Can up to P6, up 6 spots. Marchena, Tar Heels both up 5. What a drive from Gord Sauce. Taking it home, dominating multiple stages of this race. coming out on top. But some very, very good drives throughout the entire field. If you want to be a part of races like this, I believe our Discord and YouTube links are on our Twitch channel. Make sure to check them out. Discord to join us, and YouTube to get a good replay of this fantastic race. Gourd Sauce gets the top step. So we get our final results here. Gourd Sauce first in the Mercedes. New Plays grabs P2 and Fidsick P3. Will Butler up to P4 after a strong drive. Martin, despite 3 pit stops, finishes P5. Rusty Oil Can P6 from 12th on the grid. Joe Biden 7th. Marchena 8th. Free Guy 9th. Tar Heels 10th. Dr. Jane 11th. Lewecki 12th. Mysterious 13th. And then Mr. Bean, our pole sitter, DNFs as his 14th. J7 15th. And the Urgic Moss P16. A little messy in some places, but some fun drives and fun battles throughout the field. You want to see more of this? Come back next week as the group heads to, where are we off to next week? As we head to Singapore, another fun street track. This has been Hoop BK with Performance Racing League. Hope you enjoyed and hope to see you next Sunday.